I'm Teagan Wampach.
I'm Emma Kinnetz.
And I'm Samantha.
And I'm Jacob Twohey. There was an air of melancholy that surrounded New York City on June 14, 1946. A slow drizzle of rain trickled down the distinguished Queensboro streets. To the 1.3 million people living in Queens, this was an ordinary day. However, this day was anything but ordinary for Fred and Mary Trump. The birth of their fourth child, according to the CNN library, which was last updated on March 1st, 2019, had the family in a scramble. Little did anyone know that this day would alter the course of history. This day would forever change the lives for not only the 7.5 million people living in New York City in 1946, but the eventual 7.4 billion people that would occupy Earth when Donald J. Trump became the 45th President of the United States on January 20th, 2017.
Now that you know we are going to talk about the current President of the United States, you should learn why. Our President, regardless of any personal opinion, is one of the most influential people in the world. His diverse background has formed him into the person he is today and has catapulted him into the limelight that has surrounded him for a majority of his life. We are going to talk about the what, when, where, and why of his life. We are going to talk about the what, when, where, why of his life. This is not a political speech, but merely an informative speech about the crazy life of our president. We have broken down his life into 4 categories. First, we will talk about his early life and siblings. Second, we will talk about his early career. Third, we are going to talk about his mid-career. And fourth, we will talk about his late career and family.
Donald Trump is the son of a Scottish immigrant mother and had a fellow real estate developer as a father. Raised in a house with 5 children, a competitive nature was nourished, although at sometimes this competitive nature was a bit too intense. According to the World Biography, which was originally published in 1998, Donald was sent to the New York Military Academy at age 13. It was here where he was able to channel his inner energy into something more productive. By the time he had graduated in 1964, he had become a well-rounded athlete and a social leader at the school. After he graduated from the military academy, he spent 2 years attending Fordham University and then transferred to the University of Pennsylvania's School of Finance and Commerce, where he earned his undergraduate degree in 1968. According to an article published November 18, 2018, Donald's life in the 60s was much different than many others. While many young men were enrolling to fight in the Vietnam War, he was able to avoid service by having 4 student deferments and 1 medical deferment. Ashley Coleman, a news reporter for Business Insider and graduate of Syracuse University with a degree in public communications, wrote an article on October 4th, 2018, depicting the lives of the other Trump siblings.
Although the Trump family was not a normal family, from a normal upbringing, they share many normal values. Their competitive nature pushed each other to succeed. Even though the Trump household had fierce competition, they have all stuck together and continue to support each other to this day. Marion Trump, the eldest of the Trump siblings, was a longtime federal judge. First nominated by President Ronald Reagan, then elevated to the Third Circuit Court of Appeals in 1999 by President Bill Clinton. In 2002, while doing an interview with the New York Times, she stated that she knew better than to compete with Donald as a child. She also said that he was their father's favorite.
Fred Trump Jr., the eldest son, was initially in line to take over the family business. However, after realizing that he wasn't interested in real estate, he became an airline pilot. While in his mid-20s, Fred began to drink heavily. This led to an eventual downward spiral with alcoholism. In 1981, Fred died at the age of 43. Fred's struggle with alcohol has allegedly had a profound influence on Donald. Donald even claims that he doesn't drink any alcohol to this day.
Donald's older sister, Elizabeth, is not as well known. She was into banking before she fell in love with movie producer James Graw. Donald describes her as being bright, but less ambitious.
The last of the Trump siblings is Robert Trump. Robert is the only sibling that followed Donald into the family business, where he rose to become a prominent executive within the company. Robert has since retired from the company and lives a more private life in New York. When asked about Donald's presidential run by Page 6 News, Robert stated he supported him 1,000%. Now that you know about the early environment that shaped Donald, we will talk about the highs and lows of his early career.
Once Donald graduated from college, he went back to the family business. Working for his father, he climbed up the chain fast. Within 6 years, he became president of the company. Not long in the business, the family came under large scrutiny. Jackie Calms, who has over 20 years of journalism experience and has won numerous awards on her reporting of presidents, wrote an article for the Miller Center titled "Trump, Life Before Presidency," depicting one of the best-kept secrets of the Trump family. In 1973, the Justice Department alleged that the Trump family had been discriminating against African Americans who wanted to rent apartments. The Trumps never agreed to any wrongdoing, but did eventually agree to rent to more African Americans in the future.
Eventually, the dynamic father and son duo began to purchase property elsewhere. They bought property in Virginia, Ohio, California, and of course, Las Vegas, Nevada. However, Trump had his eye on a much bigger prize, Manhattan. Up until the mid-1970s, the Trumps had little to do with Manhattan, working most frequently in the Queensboro. However, Donald was now interested in the Manhattan skyscrapers. Donald then changed the name of the company from the Trump Company to the Trump Organization. Donald was the president, and his father was the chairman. In an interview, Donald boasted that not many sons have been able to escape their fathers, while in the early 80s, Fred admitted that Donald was very competitive and he didn't want to compete with him.
At age 30, Donald made his first major move into the Manhattan district, developing the Grand Hyatt Hotel, which was a move that proved to be quite complex. According to Lois Weiss, a real estate columnist for the New York Post, and Tamar Lapin, a writer and editor for the Post, the hotel's area was suffering from neglection and decay. The young Trump pulled many strings in order to make this move happen. He first gained a partnership with the Hyatt Hotel chain, and then allegedly used the strong political pull of his father, who was an associate member of the Brooklyn Democratic Organization, to garner a 40-year city tax abatement, which was the first ever tax break for a commercial area of this kind. The 26-story, 1,298-room hotel was a pillar of Manhattan for many years. Trump would not stop there. He then began to build the Trump Plaza, and then in 1979, he began the construction of the Trump Tower. The tower has 58 stories and stands at 664 feet tall, is home to many luxury stores, and has a multi-floor residential area. The $300 million project services as headquarters to the Trump Organization.
The 80s brought forth a new Donald Trump, the gambler. He invested heavily in Atlantic City casinos, building both the Trump Plaza and Trump Castle. Then came an even riskier investment, the Trump Taj Mahal. At one point, it was stated that Trump casinos had more than 8,000 employees and accounted for 1/3 of Atlantic City's gambling revenues. However, Trump took on a significant amount of debt to build the Taj Mahal. This was just the start of his downward spiral of debt. According to the previously cited CNN library, Donald took on roughly $1 billion in personal debt in 1990, the same year he opened the Taj Mahal. By 1991, the Taj Mahal had filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. Chapter 11 bankruptcy, according to the United States courts, is commonly referred to as reorganization bankruptcy. It allows an organization to reorganize its debts in order to pay a creditor later. Fred Trump, in an effort to stabilize his son's financial woes, purchased $3 million in casino chips. This was later penalized as an illegal loan, and by 1992, both the Trump Plaza and Trump Casino had filed for bankruptcy as well.
While Trump devoted a large portion of his time to the casino industry, he did not turn a blind eye on Manhattan. In In 1988, he bought the Plaza Hotel for over $400 million. Trump was quoted saying, "This isn't just a building, it's an ultimate work of art, and I was in love with it." Then, Trump made a rather questionable investment in 1983, purchasing the New Jersey Generals. Also, in 1985, he purchased the Mar-a-Lago oceanfront estate, which he renovated in 1995 into a private club. The 80s also saw the rise of Trump, the author. Trump published his first book in 1987, which was called The Art of the Deal. It was a bestseller and made him a household name. Then he created the Donald J. Trump Foundation in order to have a portion of the profits sent to charity. His early career has been full of many questionable investments. It was the start of his attempt to become more well-known and popular. Now we are going to talk about his mid-career.
In the mid to late 1990s, Trump began to dip his toes into modeling and pageantry. In 1996, he gained ownership of the Miss Universe organization. This allowed him to produce the Miss Universe, Miss USA, and Miss Teen USA pageants for nearly 20 years. Trump then began to be interested in modeling. In 1999, he founded the Trump Model Management Organization, which was originally known as T Models. However, Trump's modeling career did not come without scrutiny. In a startling article written by Matthew Mosk and Randy Creeder, who have won Emmy Awards for their economic reporting, as well as Brian Ross, who is an investigative journalist working for over 20 years for ABC News, tells the story of a former Trump model. Alexia Palmer, a Jamaican-born model, came to work for the Trumps on an H-1B work visa. The visa certified that she would work full-time and earn an average annual salary of $75,000. However, Alexia claims that over a 3-year time period, she only received $5,000. In addition to this, she was only asked to work on a total of 21 shoots. To make matters worse, Alexia claims that the agency took 80% of her earnings as fees. Under her H-1B work visa, Alexia was not allowed to work for anyone else in the country, causing her to say that she felt like a slave.
While the country changed millenniums, Trump changed his focus again. This time, he began to focus on reality TV. In 2003, he garnered a deal with NBC in order to be the executive producer and host for his new show, The Apprentice. The Apprentice was a reality TV show where several business people would come together and compete in order to earn a job working for the Trump organization. It was this show where they first heard Trump's infamous line, "You're fired." The show proved to be a large hit, and allowed him to be the co-producer for his next show, The Celebrity Apprentice, alongside Mark Burnett. In 2004, the Trump's hotels and casinos announced a changing of its debt. Trump's individual ownership would decrease from 56% to 27%. This alongside Trump's new marketing. His new marketing included Trump Entrepreneur Initiative, Trump Restaurants, Go Trump, and the Donald J. Trump Signature Collection which included many more branding names. His mid-career was spent selling his name, and to little surprise, that continued into his late career. So this is a worldwide map of Trump's organizations, and the green dots include the golfing clubs, the blue dots were hotels, residential areas, commercial areas, and a winery. And this was all major, like in Manhattan, New York area. Now that you know, now we're going to talk about his late career and his family.
Donald's branded name allowed him to receive $1.5 million for every 1-hour presentation he gave at the Learning Annex, the largest adult education company in North America. Donald even got his own video game, Donald Trump's Real Estate Tycoon. Here, users could compete against Trump to try and become the most influential business magnate.
Brian Teagan, a senior editor of philosophy at Britannica, reported that in the early 21st century, the Trump Organization was comprised of around 500 companies in the wide variety of sectors. In 2005, he also founded the Trump University, which offered seminars in real estate education until 2010. Trump's latest kick has been in politics. In 1999, Trump told Larry King, an Emmy award-winning journalist who started his career in the 1950s, that he was thinking about running as a Reform Party candidate. However, in 2000, Trump said that he was not going to run because of discord within the party. Then, in 2011, Trump made major political news when he questioned whether President Obama was born in the United States on ABC's Good Morning America. In 2015, Trump said that he was going to run for president during a speech at the Trump Tower. Even though Trump's campaign was full of controversy, he won the Republican Party's nomination for president. While battling Democrat Hillary Clinton for the title of president, many thought that he had little to no chance of defeating her. But on election night 2016, Trump supporters came out into what turned to be a major upset to most national polls. Tom Merce reported that Trump was the first to assume the office without further government or military service at the age of 70, and he was the oldest to assume the office.
As in his early life, Trump still has many family members that are a major influence on him today.
Donald married his first wife, Ivana, in 1977. Together they had 3 children. Donald Trump Jr., who was an executive vice president for the Trump Organization, Ivanka Trump, who is a former Trump Organization executive and is currently an advisor for President Trump, and Eric, who is also a vice president, an executive vice president for the Trump Organization. The couple split up in 1992, but reportedly still talk to this day.
Donald married his second wife, Marla Maples, in 1993. Together they had 1 daughter, Tiffany, but the couple later divorced in 1999. Currently, Tiffany attends Georgetown Law.
Trump married his third and current wife, Melania, in 2005. In 2006, they had their only child, Barron, together. Now, hopefully you have all learned a little more about the man who runs our country today.
There was an air of ambiguity that surrounded Washington, D.C. on January 20th, 2017. It was a cold winter day as Donald J. Trump placed his hand on the Lincoln Bible and took the oath of office from Chief Justice John Roberts. Some cheered with optimism, while others protested with gloom for the days to come. Some welcomed his businesslike, high-risk, high-reward mentality, while others felt he was careless and loose-lipped. But no one can question that President Trump is one of the most influential people in the world. Donald learned from an early age to channel his energy into something he is passionate about, and unlike his sister Elizabeth, he does not lack ambition.